Hello everyone, I am Dr. Chirag Patel. In last session, we had discussed about pathophysiology of heart failure and classification of drug use in heart failure. Today, I am going to be discuss about pharmacological account of cardiac glycoside. First one is the learning outcome. So what are the learning outcome of this session? After completion of this session, learners should be able to understand chemistry, mechanism of action, pharmacological action, toxicity, indication and patient counseling of cardiac glycoside. Here specifically digoxin. So cardiac glycoside are the one of the oldest cardiovascular medication used today. It is a common agent used to manage atrial fibrillation and the symptom of heart failure. Digoxin is classified as cardiac glycoside and was initially approved by FDA in 1954. This cardiac glycoside have cardiac inotropic property. They increase myocardial contractility and output in a hemodynamic heart without increase in oxygen consumption. Thus, it increase efficiency of failing heart. The therapeutic benefit of digitalis first discovered by William Withering in 1785, who is the English physician. Initially, digitalis was used to treat dropsy, which is an old term of edema. Subsequent investigation found that digitalis was most useful for edema that was caused by weakened heart, that is called heart failure. Next, so what are the source of cardiac glycoside? From where this glycoside is isolated? So digitoxin, gitoxin and gitaline is mainly isolated from the digitalis purpurea leaf. Digitoxin, gitoxin and digoxin is mainly isolated from the digitalis lanata leaf, where in case of the stropanthin G is mainly isolated from the Strophanthus gratus. So this is the source of cardiac glycoside. The next important part is the chemistry of cardiac glycoside. All glycoside contain the A-glycan and glycan moiety. The pharmacological activity of cardiac glycoside is because of A-glycan moiety of structure. The A-glycan consists of cyclopenta per hydrophenanthrene ring, or it is a steroid ring, to which attach 5 or 6 membrane unsaturated lactone ring. One or more hydroxyl and other substitutions are present on A-glycan which determine its polarity. Deoxygenin has additional OH group than digitoxygenin and is more polar. So this hydroxyl group is absent in digitoxin, which is present into the digoxin. That's why digoxin is the more polar and have more effect. The second moiety is the glycan moiety. The glycan moiety responsible for solubility and cell permeability. So this is the chemistry of cardiac glycoside. The next important is the mechanism of action of cardiac glycoside. So all cardiac glycoside are potent and highly selective inhibitor of sodium potassium ATPase pump. Let's understand mechanism in detail. So this is the contractile fiber. This is the sodium channel and calcium channel. So the first, during depolarization, sodium and calcium ion enter the cytosol with the help of sodium channel and L-type calcium channel respectively. The calcium ion enter through L-type calcium channel, trigger or activate the ryanodine receptor which are present onto the sarcoplasmic reticulum. This receptor efflux calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum to cytosol, resulting calcium concentration is increased in cytosol. The increased concentration of calcium is about 500 nanomole, which bind with the contractile protein and result in contraction. After contraction, the next is repolarization or relaxation. So during this phase, the calcium in the cytosol is reduced. The calcium in cytosol is reduced by two ways. The first one is the calcium ATPase pump, which uptake calcium from cytosol to sarcoplasmic reticulum. And the second one is the sodium calcium exchanger, which exchange the calcium from cytosol to outside and sodium from outside of cell to cytosol. The working capacity of sodium calcium exchanger is depend onto the intracellular sodium concentration, which is maintained by sodium potassium ATPase pump, which exchange the sodium from cytosol to outside and potassium from outside of cell to cytosol. Cardiac glycoside is bind with the phosphorylated form of sodium potassium ATPase pump and inhibit it, resulting increase the intracellular sodium concentration, which inhibit sodium calcium exchanger with reduced calcium efflux and repeated entry of calcium. With each action potential, calcium accumulate in the myocyte. Calcium uptake into the sarcoplasmic reticulum is increased. This increased calcium become available for release from sarcoplasmic reticulum onto troponin C and other calcium sensitive protein of contractile apparatus during next cycle of excitation, contraction, coupling, and thereby augmenting myocyte contractility. The cardiac glycoside binds preferentially to phosphorylated form of subunit of sodium potassium ATPase pump. Extracellular potassium promote dephosphorylation of enzyme as an initial step in cation active translocation into cytosol, and also thereby decrease the affinity of the enzyme for cardiac glycoside. This explain in part of observation that increased extracellular potassium reverse some of the toxic effect of cardiac glycoside. Next is pharmacological action. Pharmacological action of digitalis glycoside. All digitalis glycoside have qualitatively similar action. There are only quantitative and pharmacokinetic difference in different digitalis glycoside. So here digoxin is described as prototype. The first pharmacological action of digitalis on heart. Digitalis has direct effect on myocardial contractility and electrophysiological property. In heart, the first effect is on force of contraction. Digitalis cause a dose dependent increase in force of contraction of heart, means a positive inotropic action. This is specially seen in failing heart. The second one is the heart rate. So heart rate is decreased by digitalis. Digitalis slow the heart rate by vagal and extravagal action. The vagal action include reflexly increase the sensitization of baroreceptor, increase stimulation of vagal center, and increase sensitization of SA node to acetylcholine, where in case of the extravagal action is a direct depression action on SA node and AV node. Due to this vagal and extravagal action, heart rate is decreased by digitalis. The next is electrophysiological property. Electrophysiological action. Atrial and ventricular myocyte, SA node and AV nodal cell and conduction fiber exhibit different response to cardiac glycoside. At therapeutic serum or plasma concentration approximately 1 to 2 nanogram per ml, digoxin decrease automaticity and increase maximal diastolic resting membrane potential in atrial and AV nodal tissue. This is because of increased vagal effect and decrease in sympathetic nervous system activity. In addition, there is prolongation of effective refractory period and decreased conduction velocity in AV nodal tissue because of digitalis glycoside. This aggregate effect may cause sinus bradycardia or AV block, where in case of higher concentration of cardiac glycoside increase sympathetic nervous system activity which directly affect automaticity in cardiac tissue, and this action contribute to genesis of atrial and ventricular arrhythmia. Increase intracellular calcium loading, increase spontaneous phase 4 rate of diastolic depolarization. This simultaneous non-uniform increase in automaticity and depression of conduction produce serious ventricular arrhythmia. The next effect on ECG. Therapeutic dose of digitalis produce change in ECG, and the changes are: the first, decrease amplitude or inversion of T wave, increase PR interval, shortening of QT interval which reflect the shortening of systole, depression of ST segment at high dose due to interference with repolarization. So this is the effect of cardiac glycoside on heart. The next, pharmacological action of digitalis glycoside on blood vessel. Digitalis has mild direct vasoconstrictor action in normal individual. However, in congestive heart failure patient, it decrease in peripheral resistance. Next, the venous tone is improved in normal individual as well as in congestive heart failure patient. Digitalis has no prominent effect on blood pressure. Digitalis glycoside have diuretic effect in congestive heart failure patient, which is secondary to improvement in circulation and renal perfusion. The retained salt and water is gradually excreted. No diuresis occur in normal individual or in the patient with edema due to other causes. Next, pharmacological effect of cardiac glycoside is on CNS. So digitalis has little or apparent CNS effect in therapeutic dose. Higher dose cause CTZ activation and which result in nausea and vomiting. Still higher dose produce hyperapnea, central sympathetic stimulation, mental confusion, disorientation and visual disturbance. So this is the pharmacological action of digitalis glycoside on heart, blood vessel, kidney and CNS. The next is pharmacokinetic. Digitoxin is the most lipid soluble and digoxin is relatively polar. Presence of food in stomach delay absorption of digoxin as well as digitoxin. Digoxin is substrate for P-glycoprotein. As efflux protein on apical membrane of anthrocyte, P-glycoprotein may limit the absorption of digoxin. In some patients, orally administered digoxin is converted to inactive reduction product, example dihydrodigoxin by colonic bacteria in gut. As a result, certain antibiotic may increase the absorption of digoxin in such patient. The volume of distribution of cardiac glycoside is large. It is approximately 6 to 8 liter per kg in case of digoxin. All are concentrated in heart 20 times than plasma, skeletal muscle, liver and kidney. Only small percentage, approximately 13 of dose of digoxin is metabolized in healthy volunteer. Digoxin is primarily excreted unchanged by the kidney mainly by glomerular filtration. Its half-life is prolonged in elder patients and in those with renal insufficiency. So in this case we have to titrate the dose. Cardiac glycoside are cumulative drug. When maintenance dose are given from beginning, steady state level and full therapeutic effect are attained after 4 half-life, approximately 6 to 7 days for digoxin and 4 weeks for digitoxin. What are the different preparation in the market? So digoxin is available in oral solution 0.05 mg per ml, in injectable solution 0.1 mg per ml or 0.25 mg per ml, where in case of the tablet 0.0625 mg, 0.125 mg, 0.1875 mg and 0.25 mg. So these are the different preparation which is available in market of digoxin. The next is adverse effect. So toxicity of digitalis is high and the margin of safety is low. The therapeutic index is 1.5 to 3. Higher cardiac mortality has been reported among patients with steady state plasma digoxin level is greater than 1.1 nanogram per ml during maintenance therapy. About 25% patients develop one or other toxic symptom. So what are the manifestations of digitalis glycoside toxicity? So the manifestation is divided in two parts, extracardiac and cardiac. So the extracardiac manifestation include anorexia, nausea, vomiting and abdominal pain, which is usually reported first and which are due to gastric irritation, mesenteric vasoconstriction and CTZ stimulation. The other manifestations are fatigue, no desire to walk or lift arm, malaise, headache, mental confusion, restlessness, hyperapnea, disorientation, psychosis and visual disturbance. The next is the cardiac manifestation. The cardiac manifestation include almost every type of arrhythmia can be produced by digitalis. The pulses, big venous, nodal and ventricular extrasystole, ventricular tachycardia and terminal fibrillation are the example of different type of arrhythmia which is caused by digitalis glycoside. It also causes partial to complete AV block, severe bradycardia, arterial extrasystole, atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter noted due to the cardiac glycoside. So what are the treatment of digitalis toxicity? In case of the extracardiac manifestation, the further dose of digitalis must be stopped at earliest sign of toxicity. Nothing more need to be done in patient, especially if the manifestations are only extracardiac. But for tachyarrhythmia, when they are caused by chronic use of digitalis and diuretics, we have to infuse potassium chloride 20 millimole per hour, maximum 100 millimole intravenous or give orally in case of milder case. When toxicity is due to acute ingestion of large dose of digitalis, plasma potassium may be already high, so not be given from outside. The next for ventricular arrhythmia. In ventricular arrhythmia, lidocaine intravenous repeated as required is the drug of choice. It suppresses the excessive automaticity but does not affect on AV block. For supraventricular arrhythmia caused by digitalis, propranolol may be given intravenous or orally depending on the urgency. For AV block and bradycardia, atropine 0.6 to 1.2 mg intramuscular may help. Otherwise, cardiac pacing is recommended. And the last is the digoxin antibody. The fragment has been available as a DigiBind 38 mg vial. It is non-immunogenic because it lacks the Fc fragment. DigiBind given intravenous infusion and it has markedly improved the survival of seriously digitalis intoxicated patient. The digoxin FAB complex is rapidly excreted by kidney. So this is about the digitalis toxicity and its treatment. The next is the indication, or we can say the therapeutic use of digitalis glycoside. The two main indications of digitalis are congestive heart failure, and it controls the ventricular rate in atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter. First, focus onto the heart failure. Digoxin is indicated for the treatment of mild to moderate heart failure in adult. It increase the left ventricular ejection fraction and improve heart failure symptom as evidenced by improve exercise capacity and decrease heart failure related hospitalization and emergency care, while having no effect on mortality. Where possible, digoxin should be used in combination with diuretics and angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. Next, dosing and administration. In selecting a digoxin dosing regimen, it is important to consider factors that affect digoxin blood level, as for example body weight, age, renal function and concomitant drug, because the toxic level of digoxin are only slightly higher than therapeutic level. Dosing can be initiated by 0.125 to 0.25 mg oral or intravenous per day. Higher doses including 0.375 to 0.5 mg per day, which is rarely needed. Serum digoxin level less than 0.5 nanogram per ml have been associated with diminished efficacy, while level above the 2 nanogram per ml have been associated with the increased toxicity without increased benefit. For pediatric population or for infant or young pediatric patient or the patient with the very low body weight, use digoxin solution. Next indication is cardiac arrhythmia, and the first one is atrial fibrillation. Digitalis is the drug of choice for controlling ventricular rate in atrial fibrillation. The therapeutic endpoint can be clearly defined, a ventricular rate of 70 to 80 per minute at rest. If this is not possible with digitalis alone, a beta blocker or verapamil may be added. The next, dosing and administration of digitalis in case of atrial fibrillation. So there are two types of dosing. First one is loading dose and the second one is the maintenance. So in case of the loading dose, intravenous include the 8 to 12 microgram per kg body weight, where in case of the oral 10 to 15 microgram per kg body weight, and in case of the maintenance the oral dose is 3.4 to 5.1 microgram per kg per day, or 0.125 to 0.5 mg per day per kg body weight, where in case of intravenous the dosing is 0.1 to 0.4 mg per day. The next is atrial flutter. The next type of arrhythmia in which digitalis is indicated is atrial flutter. Digitalis enhance AV block. It reduces ventricular rate and prevent sudden shift of AV block to lower degree. Atrial flutter to atrial fibrillation by reducing atrial effective refractory period. The next type in which digitalis is indicated is paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia. A parenteral glycoside may be injected intravenous to increase vagal tone and decrease the path through SA and AV node or the ectopic focus and terminate the arrhythmia. Verapamil and adenoside are more effective and act faster as compared to the digitalis glycoside. So these are the therapeutic use of digitalis glycoside. So it is mainly used in heart failure and different type of cardiac arrhythmia. These are the reference for today's session. So today we discuss the pharmacological account of digitalis glycoside, which include the source, chemistry, mechanism of action, pharmacological action, adverse effect and therapeutic use of digitalis glycoside or particularly digoxin. In the next class, we will discuss other drugs which are used in treatment of heart failure and pharmacotherapy, or we can say that management of heart failure. Thank you. If you have any question, you can find me at patelchirag17787 @gmail.com.